So I'm here today, working on an oil filter change for a 2019 Ford Ranger. I'm going to start off here. I know that this is supposed to be a little bit, I've heard that it's a kind of a pain in the neck, but we're going to give it a shot today with just not taking off the wheels, because typically they tell you, go ahead and jack it up, take off the wheels, and I guess that would probably be easy, and you get a lot of, you can probably get in there and get it done that way. We're just going to give it a shot without doing that. To access the actual oil filter, you're going to have to go into the driver's side, like the firewall here, the fender firewall. So if you guys look straight in here, there's a tire, and there back is the firewall. There's actually 3 of these plastic bolts. I guess they're kind of like pins that you have to pull out here. I already pulled one out of here. There's one that's already been pulled out of here. This one, if you take a Phillips head, a small Phillips head, and you just actually loosen it up a little bit here, and you loosen this one up here. I already pulled the one out again just to try it out and see if it actually worked, because it's kind of tough to kind of film this thing and make sure everything works. But if you get to the point where you don't press too hard while you're doing this, but if you use a small Phillips head, you should be all right and be able to get these things loosened up. But typically what you'll find is that once you get them loosened up just a little bit, if you actually reach in here, you can actually loosen it by hand. If you can see that, probably not, but I'm loosening it up here, and you can see I kind of pulled it out. So all it is a little threaded pin that sticks in here. So what I'm going to do, see if I can get this out. I don't think it's going to be too difficult. Get your fingers on the edge here. You actually pull the whole thing out. It kind of looks like this. So it's just a pin that fits in there and it expands out when you thread it in. So it's really not that big of a deal to pull it out. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out the this 3rd pin here and take that down, take the firewall down, and take a look at the oil filter. All right, now that I got those little pins out of there, I think this is supposed to be pretty easy. You got a brake line down here. You guys can see this brake line piece right here. So what you want to do is just take this right here, kind of, it's pretty flexible really, but bend it underneath the brake line and make sure that when you bring it up there that you don't, when you pull it away, you don't have any, you don't mess up the brake line. You're not going to really, unless you really hark against the brake line, you're not going to mess it up. But you can see the oil filter in there. It's not super hard to get into. I'm kind of a short guy, so I don't have the longest arms in the world, unfortunately. But, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to, reach this all right. So, that's what I got socket extensions for anyway. So, I think what you're going to need for this, and I'll run through that in a second, but I just wanted to make sure that I could actually access this before I get into the car and loosen up the oil and let it drain out a little bit. So I'm going to do that now. I just want to make sure I could get here, because one thing you don't want to do is not be able to access this stuff and drain the oil out and then figure out, geez, I need to drive up on some ramps or something like that. But luckily I was able to get underneath here, so I just tried it out ahead of time. And if you look at I got an FX4, so it's got a little bit of clearance. If I didn't have the actual foot rail around here, it'd probably be easier to get under the car. But really, I'm not super skinny or anything like that, and I could crawl underneath the rail right here where it fastens on and get to where I need to get to be able to take the move the actual the drain pan around there underneath there, which I'm going to need to do, and to be able to get it in the right place when I loosen up the bolts down there to get started. But first thing I'm going to do is probably go ahead and take off the skid plate on the front. I think those are 15mm bolts, so I'm going to go ahead and start on that real quick. I think it's not really that difficult to do. I think I can do everything from, actually, believe it or not, underneath here instead of getting under the front, because I think the front 2 bolts underneath here, and I'll show you when I get underneath there, but the front 2 bolts, you don't have to take them off. So you loosen them up a little bit, and you take the back 2 bolts off, and then the whole skid plate slides off. But we'll figure that out in a second here. So you guys can come. Well, in retrospect, these back bolts are difficult to get off when you don't have any, when it's not jacked up. I guess in retrospect, I probably should have just went ahead and ran up like some ramps, because it would have been easier to work underneath here. Now I'm partially committed, so if I had gotten some ramps underneath here, I'd have a little bit more room to actually get like my impact driver underneath there with some impact sockets, and just take these off. But instead, I'm fairly committed here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a ratchet, and I'm actually going to use let me put a pipe down here. You guys can see I'm going to be using this pipe here around the end of the ratchet, and I'm going to be using that to get some torque, so I can actually get those the bolts out, so you guys can see the pipe I'm using. And I'm just going to put it around the end of the socket set. So it's how I used to do things a long time ago before I got old and arthritic. I try to use impact tools as much as possible now, but I'm already committed, so whenever you don't have enough torque, you can't get in the right space, it's not a bad thing to just go ahead and take a pipe and put it around the end of the socket, and it'll give you enough torque to be able to loosen up those bolts. So once you get that the skid plate off, there's the actual bolt you're gonna have to take out for the oil. So it's kind of located. You guys can kind of see it's not too far away from the center of the car, just on the side of the. You guys can probably figure it out. It's not rocket science here. If you guys look at here, whoa, it's like right, yeah, it's kind of tight working in here. Again, maybe the best thing is to put it up on ramps. A little easier to work, but I'm kind of committed now. So again, I'm just going to stick a drain pan underneath here, and I'm going to pull the oil there and let it drain, and then I'll take out the oil filter after that drains out. So I'm going to grab that, let that happen. You make sure you guys are going to see that that this again the old drain bolt faces the passenger side, so you're going to want to, and I'm sure it's going to shoot out probably maybe about like 10-12 inches or so. So make sure you align your the oil the oil container accordingly, so that you catch it and don't make a huge mess. Because I'm sitting on a driveway. I'm sure my wife would be a little perturbed if I messed up her driveway and put a bunch of oil on it. So make sure you have it again, the oil, the drain pan sitting there in a good area, so you don't make a mess far enough away from that, because it's going to squirt out sideways, probably like 12 inches or so, 10 to 12 inches. So keep that in mind when you do it. Well, looks like it's pretty much done draining. You can see it up here where it actually drained from. So I'm going to put that bolt back on there. I think it needs to be torqued to like 20 foot-pounds. So it's good to have a torque wrench around to torque that back up. But if you don't, just don't torque it too tight so you strip out the threads on it. That wouldn't be good. But put it back on. Again, 20 foot-pounds I think is the torque setting. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in and button it back up again and move the oil pan to catch the filter, the actual filter part of it. So you can see where the actual oil pan was So I can go ahead and tighten this back up again. Again, I'm going to use probably 20 foot-pounds to be able to tighten this with a torque wrench. So, I mean, that's pretty much it for the oil draining out. Nothing else is coming out, so I was good to go there. So just get your drain pan, stick it right underneath there, and then you can kind of get top side and start to pull that oil filter out, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. So you can see that the filter wrench we're going to be using is a 76 millimeter with 14 flutes. So that's the oil filter wrench you're going to want to grab from whatever auto supply store you go to. So I'm going to use that right now. Let's go ahead and kind of line that up. So you guys can see where we're headed here. There's the oil filter. I already have the pan lined up underneath there when I was down there a little bit earlier, so I think I'm good to go there. Now all I need to do is get this in the right place and get to work. See if I can get that there. There we go. So I got that on there now. All I have to do is loosen it up and take it off. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that now and unscrew it. So let me take this off here. There we go. I think if everything works right, I'll unscrew this thing and it'll, all the oil run. Oh, I can already hear the oil coming down, so that's good. Hopefully it's coming down in the right place down there. Should go down there without any problem. I'll take this out here. No fuss, no muss. So before you put the new filter back on, make sure you get a little bit of oil from the oil filter. If you can see if we can get some of this here. And smear it around the top of the gasket of the new filter. That way, when you're putting it on there, it'll go on really well. It's not gonna, you know, one thing you don't want it to do is it's kind of see. So just make sure you got oil all the way around that, seal, so it's nice and shiny. Good to go. And then we'll take that and just put it right back on again. So got that. Let's put this back on here. See if I can reach all the way back there. So let's see. General area here. I think it is at the there. I think that's it. All right. Get it hand tight. Pretty hand tight there. And I'll just stick this on there. I'm not really gonna hook down on this because you don't want to tighten it too much because it'll be very difficult to get back off. So I'll just give it a couple of turns here. That's good. Again, it doesn't have to be real tight. As long as you put a little bit of oil on there, it'll seat right and you'll be good to go. Now I'm gonna button everything back up here. So I got this piece from the firewall. I need to stick that back underneath here again. So got saw that there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just Stick these back in and put the screws back in here. Shouldn't be too difficult to do. Start with that one, put that one in there. Screw in there. Put this one in here. And finally this one here. Oh, maybe I should have probably taken that. Well, if it doesn't go in easily, it's probably good to take that screw out, maybe shove it in separately. I had the screws kind of taken out, but it looks like this one kind of, I guess, fell back in for whatever reason. So I'm going to take the screw out and then push it back in without the screw. Then I'll put the screw in a second. And then you can just kind of tighten it up just a little bit with that Phillips head screw again. So it's not that difficult. So you can see, I already have the funnel in here, but taking the actual oil cover cap off, you can recognize it. It's actually right next to the dipstick, so it's easy to find. So you just need to take that off to replace the oil. Get a decent funnel. This one actually, I mean, there's probably better ones I could have bought that maybe fits the size exactly. This one kind of fell over a little bit while I was pouring it, so it's kind of a pain, so you got to hold it up so that you don't make a mess. Actually got a little bit of a mess down there and had to clean it up a little bit, but so it doesn't smoke. But probably get a better filter than that, maybe one that actually fits the oil filler hole and you know, work it that way. But really, all it needs is 6.2 quarts. So you know, 6 and 1/5 of a quart. So you know, pretty easy to do. I'm almost done. I got done dumping in 5 quarts already, so all I've got to do is put another 1.2 quarts in. So good to go here. And I'll button it up, and in a second we'll reset the actual oil, the oil indicator, just to make sure that it looks like it's fresh oil. I guess it's the oil reset or whatever it is, to make sure that you know how many miles you go. Typically, I guess you can go like 10,000 miles apparently, but there's no way I'd do something like that. So every 5,000 miles I actually change the oil. So you know, it's what's not to like about that. So then, now that we got the oil cap, the oil completely filled up, 6.2 quarts, and a cap back on it. Make sure you get the cap back on it. Don't forget to put the cap on. We're going to actually check the oil level with a dipstick here. So I'm going to pull this out. Paper towel fell on the ground, so trying to work with the one hand, kind of sometimes a little crazy, but all right, so we're all clean now. I'm gonna step that back down there. So oil should be between the two dots here. You can see the 2 holes in the dipstick. So I'll go ahead and put that back down there, and hopefully when we pull up, it'll be good to go. Stick it down there. It's right in between there, so we're good to go. Just a little over the halfway point, so good to go. So next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and reset the oil filter life on the inside again. So everything's good to go. I turned on the car. Make sure you turn the car on before you check the oil and turn it back off again. Don't check it while it's running. Turn it back off, and then go ahead and check the oil again after you turn it off. But just start it up first. Make sure you have 6.2 quarts in there. Don't overfill it, or else you're gonna have problems with your with the front seal. So you don't want to overfill it. Make sure that you put in 6.2 quarts. So careful on that one. I'm gonna go inside and we'll reset the oil life. I did want to mention that I reinstalled the skid plate same way we took it off. So I'm just showing it from the front here. But basically, those the two bolts that hold it on the front here, those were just loosened, so we never took those all the way out. So I went ahead and put slid those the actual skid plate in, and then went ahead and put the rear bolts on in the back, and then tightened the front bolts on all the way up. So I tightened those bolts up in the front or in the back first after I put it in when I realigned them. And I went ahead and tightened up these bolts as well, 15 millimeters. So good to go on that one. What I'm going to do now is reset the oil life on there. I just got a notification there. It still says the oil needs to be changed, so we'll reset the oil life now. What you want to do here is on the left side of your steering wheel here, just go ahead and hit the I think it's a left arrow here, and you'll notice that that'll change your screen. And then your screen will say trip info, fuel economy. So on here you want to hit the down key on that one. And once you hit the down key, you'll notice that go down a little bit further. And down here it says truck info. Let me see what else they have. Trip 1, 2. So it probably is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead and go down, hit the down arrow till you get to settings, and hit OK under settings. Then and then you want to hit the down arrow key again and go down here a little bit, and let me see, vehicle, display. Actually, it's on vehicle, so I wasn't the right one in the first place. So hit OK for vehicle. Go down once you're on the vehicle menu here, and go down to oil life reset. Hit OK again, and then all you want to do here is this is 3% for oil life reset. You just hold it down here, and you basically reset it. Oil life reset successful. Hold it down. And it says it's reset to 100%, so you're good to go now. Make sure you do this afterwards just so you can keep track of it. Although one thing you want to do is on this one, I'm not quite sure the dealership last time they changed the oil on this one, because now it's out of warranty, so I didn't want, I just went ahead and changed it myself now. But once you once you go ahead and reset this, for some reason I think it's gonna end up being, don't wait till it reminds you to change the oil, because again, it's going to be like 10,000 miles, so you don't want to do that. Make sure you just time it, and it's like maybe like 7,000 or I'm sorry, like every 5,000 miles you want to do it. So keep track of that. Just keep a log or something or other. I'm going to I have something on here from like the last time it was supposed to be changed. So I'm going to just take a Sharpie pen and put the mileage across there. That the next one I'm going to add 5,000 miles to the current mileage, and that's the next time I'm going to change the oil, and I'll keep an eye on it. But so I change it every 5,000 miles. I hear most people change it every 5,000 miles, and that's critical, right? The last thing you want to have with a turbo engine like this is not change the oil, because it gets a lot hotter, and then you have problems. So highly recommend that. I mean, my old Ranger, I used to, I had a 4-liter V6, and it was an okay Ranger. I liked it. Didn't have nearly the power that this 2.3 has, but it's still very, it's still reliable. But now that these engines do use, like a 5W30, 5W30 full synthetic oil, I highly recommend you get it changed, because these run way hotter than the old 6-cylinder engines that used to be in here before. So just keep that in mind. I think totally good to go. Check the oil level. The oil level's done. Reset the oil, and all you got to do now is make sure that you know the next time you're going to change it. 5,000 miles. That's kind of what everybody tells me. Don't wait to 10,000 miles. That I think it's dealer recommended or Ford recommended. Do it every 5,000 miles, because better safe than sorry. But you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.